Hello, my name is Roland Wagner. Today I will be presenting the new features in CODESYS for the third quarter of 2025, briefly and concisely. You can find more detailed information on bug fixes and improvements as always in our release and teaser notes. With this add-on, you can control TS2 and TX2 series robots directly from your IC application with CODESYS SoftMotion. The solution uses the Stäubli Unival interface, so your existing SoftMotion workflow remains unchanged. Be careful not to use EtherCAT 4.10.0.0 for loading PDU information. Instead, select an earlier or later EtherCAT version. Improved diagnostic functions make it easier to troubleshoot OPC UA connections. The library now checks array sizes before decoding and reports array dimensions mismatch instead of wrong configuration if there are any discrepancies. For structured data types, an encoding ID must now be specified, otherwise the client will respond with an error. Writing and reading simple data types now returns correct error messages. Pure ASCII strings are processed internally in an optimized manner. This increases execution speed. All internal buffer memories now end with a 0 byte. Therefore, plan for one more byte. The libraries require a compiler version 3.5.19.50 or higher, otherwise the build will be stopped with a plain text message. iDisposable has been replaced by mbm.iDisposable. Please check explicitly enum queries for possible adjustments. The Modbus client now supports CPU and line redundancy for fail-safe systems. Selected diagnostic information is made available as PLC variables or can be accessed via the Status tab. After reconnect, the server status icon now reliably updates the communication status. Ethernet over EtherCAT messages are now routed correctly, even if CAN over Ethernet is active at the same time. In redundancy mode, read NBR slaves now detects all slaves on both parts. This makes diagnostics easier for you. The update also supports additional devices such as the EL6633 or the IO-Link Gateway SIG300. SoftMotion Robotics now supports additional auxiliary axes, allowing you to move grippers or conveyor units synchronously. The library expands the range of devices available by providing a new driver for Maxon EPOS 4, Danfoss ISD, and Kollmorgen KED drives. For bipod kinematics, axis angles from -180 to +180 degrees can now be used, which doubles the working space. Outdated drivers for Danaher ServoStar, Beckhoff AX2000, Nanotech SMC i47S and Brunner have been removed. Please check your project before updating. Newly configurable dead times and high-precision cam switching functions now make it easier to fine-tune high-speed machines. Even with CNC applications, you can now use all robotic kinematics with the new SMC Trafo wrapper block. When updating a project, box alignments are now retained even if namespaces are hidden. Refactory commands reliably display the affected code locations, thus reducing the effort required for rework. Cursor values are retained when zooming, allowing you to analyze signal waveforms more accurately. Loaded traces now display all variables values correctly, even if a variable has been recorded multiple times. The scroll position remains stable when you insert new variables into an empty diagram. New subscription licenses can be activated on a project-specific basis and updated via the store. The license counter now takes into account the number of module instances. For licensing, you no longer need to install the CODESYS Application Composer single license package. Instead, you can license the Application Composer directly. In addition, we have implemented various improvements in the Persistence Manager and in the Data Log Manager. All Linux-based runtime packages contain CodeMeter Lite 8.30a and close known security gaps. The extension API uses new paths under var opt CODESYS control API. You can customize your own scripts as needed. If desired, you can display hyperthreading and RT throttling directly in the runtime diagnostics and stabilize hard real-time tasks. For Raspberry Pi controllers, all GPIOs 0 to 31 can now be used as inputs or outputs. CODESYS Virtual Control no longer starts in a save mode after an upgrade, thus avoiding unnecessary downtime. The CODESYS Control SL deploy tool now supports the RPM package manager, which is used on Red Hat Linux systems. The overlay function for native elements is now fully supported. To activate it, enable the corresponding project setting. Here, too, CodeMeter Lite 8.30a closes critical security gaps. The following products will enter the service phase in the next 12 months. CODESYS Control RTE SL. 32-bit support will enter the service phase with Service Pack 22 and be discontinued on December 31st, 2026. The 64-bit version will remain available from Service Pack 23 onward. CODESYS Application Composer SL. Service phase from July 31st, 2025 with version 4.4.0.0, new license model. Licenses already purchased can still be used with older versions for 3 more years. CAA libraries, e.g. CAA Net-Based Service or CAA Behavior Model. Entry into the service phase on March 1st, 2026 with modern alternatives such as Net-Based Services, Async Job Manager or Common Behavior Model. Specific libraries such as CAA Real-Time Clock, CAA DT Util External and CAA FB Factory will also enter the service phase on March 1st, 2026. Alternatives are documented in the help section. Over the next 12 months, the following products will leave the service phase and be discontinued. The SMS service, library in the CODESYS IIoT libraries, will be discontinued on March 1st, 2026. A complete overview can be found in the discontinuation table. Support for Qt4 in the CODESYS TargetVisu will be discontinued on August 1st, 2026. Qt4 has not been officially supported since December 2015. We recommend thus using Qt5 or Qt6. A complete list of discontinued products and products in the service phase can be found on the CODESYS website. Thank you for watching.